What if the man you fed on the street turned out to be a billionaire and the love of your life? In today's emotional journey, one woman's act of kindness sparks a love story she never saw coming, until secrets threaten to tear it all apart. Welcome to our channel where we bring you the best of stories. Today's story is titled, My Homeless Billionaire Husband. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. And hey, grab some snacks, settle in, and let's dive right in. It was a bustling morning at the famous Mile 12 market in Lagos, and let me tell you, the energy was electric. Shoppers were haggling over prices like pros, while vendors proudly displayed their colorful wares. The aroma of delicious food filled the air, making it impossible to resist the urge to sample everything. It was the perfect setup for a day of thriving business. In the midst of all this hustle and bustle was Zainab, a vibrant 28-year-old woman with a heart of gold, trying to make an honest living selling food. Her little stall was a feast for the eyes, brimming with a mouth-watering variety of local delicacies. Think golden fried plantains, fluffy akara, and rich, savory moi moi. Seriously, just imagining it makes my stomach growl. But despite the tantalizing scents wafting from her stall, customers were few and far between. It was disheartening, to say the least. As Zainab arranged her colorful dishes, a heavy sigh escaped her lips. It had been a tough few months since she lost her husband, Femi, a hard-working taxi driver who always found a way to bring home some extra cash. Losing him had turned her world upside down. Now she was left juggling her late husband's debts, while trying to care for their two little kids. The weight of responsibility felt like a mountain on her shoulders, threatening to crush her spirit. But you know what? Zainab wasn't one to throw in the towel. She held on to hope like a lifeline, dreaming of a brighter tomorrow where she could provide for her kids without the constant gnawing fear of sinking deeper into despair. Then, one evening, as the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the market, something unexpected happened. A stranger appeared and settled down behind her stall. He looked worn out and disheveled, his clothes carrying the scent of stale dirt. At first, he didn't say a word, just sat there quietly, drawing curious glances from the other market-goers. Some whispered among themselves, speculating about his presence, while others openly mocked him. But Zainab, known for her kind heart, couldn't bear to see someone in distress. She offered him some food, which he accepted with a grateful nod. That simple act of kindness broke the ice, leading to hesitant smiles and eventually a conversation. As they talked, Zainab learned that the man's name was Luckman. He didn't share much about himself, but his gentle eyes and quiet demeanor hinted at a deep sadness beneath his rough exterior. As darkness fell, he asked if he could stay behind her stall, promising to leave in the morning. Despite her Aunt Mama Cassie's warnings about letting strangers get too close, Zainab's compassion got the better of her. The following morning, however, the man was nowhere to be found. Relief washed over her had he only been a figment of her imagination. Just when she was about to brush off the previous night's events, the stranger reappeared. Once again, he looked the same, but somehow seemed different. His silence was comforting rather than unsettling. Over the next few days, he became a regular sight behind her stall. Every morning he would arrive, eat the leftover food from the previous day, and help her pack up afterward. In return, he did odd jobs around her stall, fixing her leaking roof or carrying her heavy loads. He never took money for these services, saying he didn't have any use for it. This puzzled her, but she appreciated his help. There was just something about his quiet strength and kindness that drew her to him. Though she couldn't quite put her finger on it, she found herself warming up to him. While others might have seen only a dirty, homeless man, Zainab recognized a kindred spirit, someone who understood the value of hard work and the dignity of honest living. Their bond deepened, offering her solace during tough times. But amidst their growing companionship, there was an undeniable spark. Their shared laughter and stolen glances hinted at a connection that transcended their unusual friendship. Meanwhile, Luckman couldn't shake off the feeling that he was missing something important. Every night, he dreamed of a luxurious home and a life of privilege. These dreams felt vivid yet distant, like fragments of a forgotten memory. Confused and troubled, he sought solace in helping Zainab, finding comfort in her kind eyes and warm smile. One evening, after helping Zainab close her stall, Luckman slipped away unnoticed, made his way to a secluded spot, pulled out his phone, and dialed a number. The person on the other end was surprised to hear from Luckman, asking him why he was calling. Luckman hesitated before revealing that he'd been living on the streets, working for a woman named Zainab. He admitted to missing his family and the comfort of his former life. However, he emphasized that he wasn't ready to return home yet, wanting more time to explore the world and discover its complexities. He ended the call with a promise to contact them again soon, leaving his father, Alhaji Balahan, deeply concerned for his well-being. On the other end of the line, Alhaji Balagan couldn't help but worry about his son. Luckman had gone missing months ago, choosing to leave his comfortable life to live among the underprivileged. While he respected his son's choices, he also feared for his safety. At the market, Zainab and her friend Kiki were preparing for the day. Suddenly, Kiki noticed Luckman approaching and teased Zainab about him. Zainab knew Luckman was a good man, but she never thought of him as a romantic prospect. Days turned into weeks, and Luckman continued to help out at the stall. Zainab found herself developing strong feelings for him, but she pushed them aside, focusing instead on providing for her children. She couldn't afford to be distracted by a homeless man, no matter how charming he was. Meanwhile, Luckman couldn't stop thinking about Zainab. He admired her strength and resilience, and he wanted to be with her. One day he decided to confess his feelings for her. He approached her while she was cooking and told her how he cared about her. To his surprise, Zainab admitted that she liked him too. They embraced, and in that moment, everything seemed perfect. However, their happiness was short-lived. A group of people led by David Luckman's cousin arrived at the market. They were shocked to see Luckman there and confronted him. David, who was the CEO of Luckman's company in his absence, was furious to see his cousin dressed in rags. He accused Luckman of abandoning his responsibilities and reminded him of his duty to his father and the family business. Luckman tried to explain his actions, but David wouldn't listen. He called the security guards and ordered them to arrest Luckman. As they dragged Luckman away, Zainab couldn't believe what she was seeing. She had never known the homeless man she'd loved to be a wealthy man, and now he was being arrested because of her. She felt betrayed and angry, and she lashed out at David, accusing him of treating his own cousin badly. David, however, didn't care. He dragged Luckman away, leaving Zainab and the others behind. Zainab was heartbroken. She had fallen in love with a liar, and she didn't know what to do. As she walked home that evening, she kept thinking about Luckman and what had happened to him. She couldn't understand why he had lied to her and why he had treated her so badly. She felt betrayed and hurt. When she got home, her children were waiting for her. They were hungry and thirsty, and they looked at her with innocent eyes. She felt guilty for not being able to provide for them, and she hugged them tightly. At that moment, she knew that she had to move on from Luckman. He had shown her nothing but lies and deceit, and she didn't want to be a part of his life anymore. The next morning, Zainab woke up early and went to the market. She had made up her mind to start a new life. She would no longer let her circumstances define her, and she was determined to make a better future for herself and her children. As she started her stall, she couldn't help but think of Luckman. He had treated her badly, but she knew that she had to move on. She had her children to think about, and she couldn't afford to waste any more time on a homeless man who had lied to her. Meanwhile, Luckman was back at his mansion, but it didn't feel like home. He had been used to living a simple life, and now he was surrounded by luxury that felt empty and meaningless. He couldn't shake off the image of Zainab and her children, and he regretted leaving her behind. One day, Luckman decided to visit Zainab. He wanted to apologize for lying to her and explain why he had done it. When he arrived at her stall, however, he was shocked to find it closed. The neighbors told him that Zainab had moved away, and they didn't know where she had gone. Heartbroken and desperate, Luckman searched. We will see you on the next video.